This is 9 News Now.
Well, in the wake of yesterday's earthquake, there appeared to be two major breakdowns that dramatically hindered the evacuations. Traffic was gridlocked and cell phone service completely disrupted after millions of folks all up and down the East Coast all tried to make calls at exactly the same time. So, why did we have such a breakdown? What went wrong? Well, two telecommunications experts join us now for some answers. Senior Staff Attorney John Bergmeyer with Public Knowledge. Dr. Marcella Wilson is at UMBC. Glad to have you both here. Very quickly, we keep hearing that it's just about overload. Too many people trying to call at the same time. Is that accurate?
Yes. Well, when a disaster happens, everybody is trying to call their loved one and make sure they're okay.
Yeah, now that's fine, but what can we do about that?
Well, the FCC generally monitors the performance of communications networks like the cell phone network. So carriers really do need to harden their networks so they can withstand these peak problems.
All right, well, let's be real here. Most of the time, what we have working out there is working just fine. It's only in these emergencies. How do you justify to a carrier to spend billions of dollars hardening up a network for occurrences that are only going to happen once a decade?
Well, with electricity, we know when peak usage is going to happen, but no one would really accept if every August the power went out for weeks at a time. With cell phone networks and communications, you never know when an emergency is going to happen, but that doesn't mean that peak problems don't happen in communications, just like they happen in other areas.
Right. Well, Congress is still kind of arguing about what to do with this issue, but you know, call volume is estimated. So when a disaster strikes and it goes above call volume, that's when people lose calls, they can't get through to their loved ones, and that's what's really important is people can't reach their loved ones.
Okay, so then two things. How much would it cost to harden the networks in the way you described, and who should pay for it?
Well, the carriers should pay for it because ultimately there's not a lot of competition in the wireless market. They're given exclusive licenses to use the airwaves, and there's certain privileges with that, but there's also responsibilities. So ultimately, I think that the carriers ought to pay the cost of upgrading their networks to respond in emergencies.
But in turn, that's probably going to be passed on to the consumer. So, you know, yes, the carriers should foot the bill, but we're going to ultimately pay for it.
You and I are going to foot the bill.
Yes.
All right, I want to thank both of you for coming in. We appreciate it tonight. Good conversation.